guys, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for June 16th. And today the Yod reemerges. Now, it's not within a 9-degree orb, and so I kind of don't consider it to be a full-on mutable cross until every side of the cross is at that 9-degree orb. That's just my opinion. But the fact that the players are in place and ready to perform, think about you're getting ready for your performance. You know, the stage is set, you know, you've got everything set up, you're in costume, and you're just right now ready to perform the performance of a lifetime that you guys have all been anticipating. I feel like that is the energy that we're going to be experiencing today. Now, one thing that's significant about this second Yod is that the energy shifts. The energy shifts, I think it was in the Sun and it was in Venus, and they were conjunct at the time. It switches from the Sun, what you desire most in relationships, partnerships, and unions, what you desire most in your money. So a lot of us experienced during that first mutable Grand Cross, lots and lots of options in partnerships, lots and lots of options in you know, what we desire most. Maybe some of us shifted what we desired in partnerships and in what we desired. Maybe some of us felt like some of our partnerships, bonds, and unions shifted their desires for us, and we were kind of caught off guard at the change in energy from them, what we perceived that we were going to receive from them. It's also an energy that was asking us about, you know, what we immediately desire at that time. And so our immediate desires, when we start to, you know, dive into Gemini energy, and there's a duality in that energy. There's the twins, the big daddy of duality in that energy. It's really hard to focus when we don't know what we completely desire. 100%, or what the desired result is from relationships, partnerships, unions, from money, from our aspirations, you know, our goals regarding money, our goals regarding pleasure. It was very hard for us to decipher what we completely desired when we had that first mutable Grand Cross. So here's where it gets kind of interesting. The second mutable Grand Cross, as the players are getting ready to get out onto the stage, one of the things that's going to cross your mind today is I think you're closer to what you desire. But see, now the Sun and Venus are involved in a Yod, and this Yod goes on until tomorrow, and it breaks up tomorrow on the 17th. And the Sun and Venus are in a harmonious, beautiful, lovely conversation with Uranus. That's at the base of the Yod. So that's like the answer to your question. The universe gives you both a question and the answer at the same time. For some of us that are open to suggestions, for some of us that are open to being adaptable, for some of us that are open to being spiritually guided, this is a lovely and glorious time for you, because at the same time we're having all of this crazy confusion that doesn't seem to make any rational, logical sense, because as soon as you make a decision, it seems like there is something else unexpected, something that you didn't see, a duality in the situation that makes you have to reconsider even that stance, even that most recent stance, and it can be very frustrating. But now the energy shifted from, you know, really not understanding what's going on to the Sun and Venus being across from Uranus and Aries. And Uranian energy is all about being very original in our thinking, being very self-oriented. It's an ego-based energy because it's at the beginning of the zodiac. So this energy is resetting you. For some of us, it's a drastic reset. It's a reboot entirely. And for some of us, it's a soft reboot. You know, if you ever had to soft reboot your computer, and then there's sometimes where it's just quick and all the programs come back up and again, and you're just right back where you were, but you kind of just needed to clear a little bit out, clear a little bit of the confusion, clear a little bit of the data you didn't want to see because it was clogging your computer's memory. Some of us had a soft reboot, and some of us had a hardcore reboot where we had to shut down our computer completely because it would not turn off. And then we have to turn it back on, and it's, you know, slowly loads your desktop, and, you know, it loads all your settings, and it takes a little longer, that reboot. But what I love about this Uranian aspect is whatever type of reboot that you endured during the first mutable Grand Cross, when the Yod first formed, I think the second mutable Grand Cross is really going to clarify what you desire most about your closest bonds, relationships, unions, about some of your goals and desires, and what you financially hope to attain in money. I think it has a lot to do with the duality, kind of looking at everything. You kind of looked at it from both sides now, and you fully understand that there is an extreme in these areas, and these areas are something that you kind of need to pay attention to. And I think what it did was show you that somehow you may have not been clearly thinking about these areas. Your focus should have been there, and all the while it was everywhere else. And so when you were pulled in all those different directions, what was clearly defined in that first mutable Grand Cross is that you needed to focus on something that had an extreme impact on your life. Now, for many of you, this could have been the desire for pleasure alone. Some of you have become very excessive in what you pleasure. And that pleasure seeking has got to a point in your life where I believe that for some of you, it is out of control. And it has overcome what you desire most in your life, which for some of us, if we were very in tune with the universe, also experienced this grand trine. And the grand trine was all instability and consistency and, you know, paying attention to the goals that you have, working diligently, working hard, setting up structures, setting up boundaries, and taking a look at everything. So, and you wanted to have, for some reason, you felt compelled on a harmonious level to take a look at what you desire most as a rock solid foundation. So you can see the areas in your life that were really defined by the first mutable Grand Cross. Well, the second one comes in, sweeps into our lives. It's getting ready to perform. We're right before the curtain opens up. And I believe today is a day that there is a little bit of emphasis on Neptune. No. There's a lot of emphasis because the strongest, most powerful energy in today is, for me, is Saturn and Neptune in this almost exact square with each other right before the curtains are going to open on the second mutable Grand Cross. And we have one hell of a fireworks show coming up on Monday regarding the full moon. The full moon, which is the second full moon, which is an accumulative, it's like, to me, the way that I view the full moon is I feel like the full moon is an enhancement in our lives. It's going to open up our perspectives on a much larger scale than I think even we could have originally anticipated. I believe that it is momentum. You know, all of this energy is momentum. Even the full moon, the cumulative ending, is a push, a shove, a destined, fated shove from the universe that something big is about to change. You are really starting that new chapter. I believe that this month is such a cool month. Now, I don't think we're going to fully understand the month for a while, and I think it takes us a while to decipher what this month actually meant. But I believe that if you could look back at between May and June of this year, you're going to see something very significant about these last 2 months, is as far as in, you know, the dualities in our life and how we've allowed extremes to overcome and we had no control over these extremes, and we need to reel these extremes back, because they're really affecting some of our significant structures in our life, the foundations, the place that we feel the most secure. It's really starting to take its toll on those areas, and so we got to reel that back in. And it makes sense to me. Saturn is in Sagittarius. This is the second full moon in Sagittarius. Saturn is the big dog. Saturn is the one that really allows us to have, perspective over our lives, control. It's the wisest of energies. And it's really been asking you to take some control over areas in your life and to open you up to new and exciting and innovative ideas. You're gonna have to add some structure and stability into your life, so you can see that this is bigger and broader, because Sagittarius rules the big picture, the elevated mind, the elevated learning. Like you're sitting in a classroom whether you want to be or not, and you're in Saturn's classroom. With Neptune being in retrograde, Mars being in retrograde, and we have Saturn in retrograde right now. These are a lot of powerful energies asking it, pulling back the reins on things you're passionate about. It's intensifying these areas at the same time. So at the same time you're feeling constricted, it's intensifying the situation for you. And then we have Saturn. There's a feeling that you don't have control, but there's a feeling that you need control. The duality in that is, oh my God, these are the areas highlighted. I don't have control. This is the conundrum that it's causing in my life. This is the mess. This is the nuts and bolts of what I can't get control over, what I can't seem to break free from. Uranian thinking is all about breaking free. It's about liberating your mind, liberating yourself from conformity. And for some of you, this is just programming. Some of the conformity has nothing to do with maybe you're conforming with people, because I think people are more original than I've ever seen them. But what they are is they're at that weird part in their life where they're just about ready to perform a new performance. They've never performed maybe even in this way before. Maybe they've never ever opened the curtain on their lives and really looked at, the challenge of like being out in front of people and performing and getting them to accept the real you. This is really about identification, really about identifying what you desire, really about identifying what you want most from your significant partnerships and unions. It's about identifying the extremes in your life. It's about getting you shaking things up, really awakening this area in your life so that you can focus on what do you want? What do you need to be happy? This isn't a collaborative energy. Definitely. I believe that partnerships and unions, collaborations, social media, social circles are all integral in this process, because they get us to understand what we're kind of doing wrong and what we're kind of doing right. And if we're doing things wrong, then we're getting a lot of negative feedback, or our partnerships are dissolving, or our partnerships are revealing weaknesses, things that we were unconscious of. But I think at the same time that that's happening, I think what's really happening is that at the same time, this is really getting us to strengthen these areas. And it's getting us mad, and it's getting us frustrated, and it's getting us action oriented, because we're a wild animal suppressed in all of this confusion and all of these planets in retrograde, and we're exhausted, and we're mentally and I believe that some of us have been very, very significantly impacted, by all of this. So today is a beautiful day. I mean, honestly, Uranus is sextiling the Sun and Venus. And the moon in Scorpio is inspiring you to emotionally engage. This energy will up the ante. It will up the ante on the performance that you have to give. I think some of you have identified some of the areas in your life where you want to enhance your performance, you know, where you want to put the best gasoline in your car, you know, where you want to maybe look the best, or you want people to identify you a certain way, and it upped the ante. It got you out of some stagnant energy. I think that this area is illuminating where you need to fixate and ground your energy. This has to do with making consistent choices. This is long haul energy. And even though it's very superficial energy, it feels like what you don't understand is this is a ripple effect for years to come, perhaps generations, because I believe that as we change our karma, as we forgive and pay back our debts in karma, it's not a generational. We don't pass this down to the younger generations, and they get to be truly deeply authentic and originate in their own sense of self, and they get to start their lives in their own sense of karma. I think that this will absolutely show you where your power has been suppressed. Your personal power has been suppressed. This is an important day. Because you will feel like you're behind the stage still, right? And there's that flutter in your stomach, and there's that excitement, but at the same time, you're a little fearful. And there's this anticipation, but at the same time, there's like, what if I fail? What if I fall? What if I don't do it right? You know, there is a lot of energy, and there's a lot, and it's going to be hard for you to identify actually what's good and what's bad about the energy, because it's excitement. It's Uranian. It's all Uranian. To me, this is a Uranian moment. This is, holy crap, I'm about to change my life. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again tomorrow.